Welcome to I Love My HBCU ? The podcast where we express our undeniable love for HBCUs, but where we are also not afraid to address a few tough questions. So, sit back, learn a little, love a lot, and rep your HBCU. Hello, beautiful people. I'm excited. Layla's a dancer. She's already moving her body, and I absolutely love it. And Layla is our first Spelmanite, as in current Spelmanite on the podcast. So I am super duper excited. Welcome to the listeners and the viewers to I Love My HBCU ? Layla, I am honored that you're joining me today. How are you doing?
Thank you for having me. This is amazing. I'm doing well. So I actually just got back home because we're on our a little break for the holidays, and I'm going back to Atlanta tomorrow because we
I
still have
love
some
it.
holidays.
So
So
home for Layla is Chicago, just to be clear. And as we know, Layla is a Spelmanite, so she'll be going back to Atlanta for school. When people finally hear this, it's going to be, I don't know when it's going to be, but this is Layla literally gave up a couple of hours on the day after Thanksgiving
yes,
2024 to have this lovely conversation with me, and I could not be more grateful. Layla, you are in your second year at Spelman. Tell me about yourself. Tell me, you're one of the human beings that when I read your bio, I literally said, you know what? We're going to remember her
yes,
years from now for several reasons. One of them being when I read your bio, not only are you doing what you're studying, there's already a plan to move forward in what you're studying. So I'm going
yes,
to let you talk about it. I'm going to let you talk about why you're excited about what you're studying at
yes.
Spelman. Go ahead.
Oh my gosh, it's so real to even think about all the different things that I've been kind of just venturing myself into just throughout my second year because I'm also a perfectionist, so I'm just I need to make sure I'm getting this done, but then it's I also have so much time. But yeah, this semester has been great so far. Currently, I'm captain of Mahogany in Motion, which is the dance line for the Morehouse Band. And we've had our football season. We just ended with that. So we're going into our basketball season when school starts back. And then currently, also, I'm developing my own dance game for younger girls who just may not have access to dance classes. And I just want to be an inspiration to the next generation because I remember when I was in their places. So everything to me is like an experience. It's also like a learning lesson. And I just want to pour back into my community. And it's also just one of the reasons why I even chose to go to Spelman. It wasn't just all about the sisterhood, but it was also just how much of an impact I can make for younger girls just like me. And that's what I'm doing currently. I'm figuring it out, but yeah, I'm doing a lot of different things on campus. It's been great. Definitely a great experience.
So I don't listen. When I read it, and even as you were talking about it, I got excited. So I am not trained in anybody's dance moves, but Tosin loves to dance. I love to
Yeah.
dance. From Afro beats to classical, I will look at see look. I love it. I love it. I love it. So when you said you are developing, when I read that you're developing a dance game,
Mhm.
don't give us any proprietary information because I don't want anyone stealing your idea. I
Mhm.
want you working on your idea. I
Right.
want you to gain every single financial benefit that you can gain from your idea. So don't give us a name, don't give us anything.
Yeah.
Don't.
Mhm.
But I want you to talk a little bit more about the game. I hear it and I get excited. I hear it, and when you said that you want to be able to give what you did not have, I wish I had a dance game. I'm not kidding. So tell us a little bit more about it.
So when I was younger, I mean, I was, I had the access to like go to dance studios, even though it was like very expensive. But my mom was like, I see something in you, like you're so passionate about dance, like I need to keep you in dance classes. So ultimately, like it wasn't very challenging for me to like be able to get into dance classes. Then I moved up to like competitive dance, and then I ventured out as a solo dancer. And I was a part of a hip hop company for maybe, I think, like 3 years. And then I started kind of traveling. I was getting opportunities with some big time choreographers, and I was working on tour with like Sir the Baptist and just like several different other artists. And it was just like a great experience. So now I was just like, I'm also like really like into technology and software, and like AI is just like taking over the world. So this was an idea for a really long time, but I didn't really like officially kind of just like set it until my first year. And so last year I did this pitch competition at Spelman, and it just gave me more experience of like how to create a business, how to like venture out, figure out like what I want to do and what I'm passionate about. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I have a great idea. So I used this same idea and I kind of just like added more to it this year. But ultimately the game is a virtually like dance experience for younger girls. I do want it to expand to everyone, but my target audience are younger girls. Um and like they're just like right now it would just be like on the phone, they're like playing the game and they're playing around with the different features. And the first level is like ballet first. That's the very first level, and then it'll go into hip hop, it'll go into jazz, and you'll get to learn different dance terminology like plies, frappes, tendus, all the different positions. Um, and then also it'll have like a virtual experience where you'll be able to like um, learn dances from choreographers, and I'll be one of them. So like actually like virtually, you'll be able to like learn from me. But yeah, ultimately it's just for younger girls, and I just want to be the model for them because I know that I had the opportunities when I was young, but I know there are girls out here who don't have the access to like all these different things that I was capable of doing. So I just want to be able to like pour that back into them, even if they're not even able to like get up and dance and move. This is just something like very fun for them to just like take in, even the dance terminology, being able to say like, oh, I can do a tendu, oh, I can do a frappe, I can, point my feet, I can do an arabesque. And then ultimately with that information, they'll be able to go take classes sooner than later. But yes.
Layla, so I'm gonna manifest this with you or manifest this for you that when this episode comes out, that there will be enough between venture capitalists and entrepreneurs and
Mhm.
just business visionaries that get interested in your idea and want to meet with you and have at
Mhm.
least a conversation with you so that if nothing else, you are able to gather a collection of mentors that will help guide you to making this a reality. This needs to happen, Layla.
Yes,
This
it is. It's gonna
needs to
happen.
happen. Layla, so as you were talking, anyone watching and you saw me, I had my hands crossed and I was just smiling. And the smiling was born, you can't tell right now as we're speaking, but I'm a loner. I'm a heavy introvert who happens to be a loner.
Mhm.
And I've been that way since I was a kid. And as you were talking, I was thinking about your age range right now is 5 to 10 years old, right?
Yes.
I was thinking about the 5-year-old who, no, she's not into playing the sports with everybody else. She's not into X and she's not into Y.
Mhm.
Most of those girls, what they tell you to do, not tell you to do, what they end up doing, it's why I'm a bookworm. You go and start reading, or you just play with dolls by yourself, or you sketch. Those are
Mhm.
typically the things you get into. And you're giving them another option, and that's
Yes.
dance. My heart broke and then remended when you said, even if they can't dance. So, the other thing about me is I watch documentaries for fun. Like there's probably a documentary that I haven't seen, but it's not often that you're going to mention a documentary that I haven't seen.
Mhm.
I watched something on Netflix not too long ago, and I'm not going to say the name because I'm going to get the name right. but it's a young gentleman who had a muscular disorder that he was born with. And so from the age from 1 to 5, he was fine. He was, living his best life. But as he got older, his muscles started to break down. And so he died at 22. Unfortunately, that's the end, is that he died at 22. But before he died, he got into a game. That's why I'm bringing this up. He got into a game whereby through that game, he did not see himself as handicapped. He saw himself as somebody that could do all of these things.
Yes.
So, as you were talking, that's what I saw for little girls all over the world
Over the
who
word.
A, don't have access, and B, maybe disabled and can't really get into these activities.
Right.
Layla, your game has to happen. She's laughing. I am not joking. Your game has to happen because I have not heard it broken down in the way that you've broken it
Mhm.
down. So, everybody hearing the sound of my voice, you are manifesting with me that Layla's game is going to happen sooner or later, and she's going to have all the resources for it to happen because that's often the challenge is having the resources to make it
Right.
happen.
Because we don't always have the spaces. Like it's not like extremely easy to just like go out and take classes and like, oh, I want to like dance with this choreographer, especially like me being like very passionate about dance and doing it for a very long time. I'm always like, oh my gosh, like I wish I was like, doing things with Sean Bakehead, doing things with like Jaquil Knight and all these like amazing choreographers. So I just want them to like have these spaces and also for them to like evoke confidence. Like all of this is just like being able to like truly pour into yourself and like bring yourself up, because at the end of the day, like this is supposed to help you and I want you to like really engage into this virtual reality game.
Your Spelmanite sisters are looking at you right now and are just clapping. They really are. I love you and I
Thank
don't even know
you.
you, but they are. Okay, I'm going to shift gears a little. If you've watched any of our episodes, you know what's coming at you is the rapid fire segment in 67 seconds.
Oh
So I'm
wow.
going to, yes. I'm going to throw a bunch of questions at you and give me your answers in 67 seconds. Are you ready?
Yes, I am ready.
Let's do this. All right, Layla, describe yourself in 3 words.
I would say I'm generous, hardworking, and bold.
I'm going to throw visionary in there as well. That's my
Yes,
number 4 for you is
innovative. That's
visionary,
what I was
innovative.
innovative,
There we
entrepreneur.
go. There
Yes.
we go. All right, Layla, you are at your college graduation. Who do you want as the commencement speaker?
Um, I think I would probably want Beyonce because she's just like a great role model. Like she's worked so hard to get where she is today, and I just like ultimately like love everything about her work ethic. Like I see her as like a boss. She's literally like her own boss, and she's also an innovator, a businesswoman, an artist, and that's like everything that I like consider myself as well. So
I
I
love
definitely
it.
am like motivated and inspired by her.
I'll take it. What's the best meal at your HBCU?
The best meal. Okay, so Spelman has definitely like upgraded the calf now, and I'm like extremely happy. Um, but I also don't like eat the food all the time. But I would definitely
Okay.
probably say like the tacos or just like the
Tacos.
sandwich bar, because I mean
Okay.
like the food isn't like that bad, but like I also don't like eat there all the time. So when I do go to the calf, I'll usually just get like a sandwich or like tacos or something, and it's usually really good.
I hear you. So I was just told that our 67 seconds are up, but I'm sorry. I love these
Okay.
other questions that I'm still going to ask you the questions regardless. Shout out your favorite professor or person at your HBCU.
Shout out my favorite. Okay, I'm trying to think. Okay, Miss Brandy Taylor. That is one of my mentors. She works in the research department because I'm also a peer mentor for the research department on Spelman's campus. And like she's just been like amazing to me. Like any questions or anything that I've needed from her, she's always like fast with it. And yeah, I've been able to gain like a lot of skills from her. She's been giving me more like ways to get internships and just like how to build your resume, how to build um like your language and tone when you're applying to
Yes.
internships and like sending emails to like businesses and all these different like companies. So yeah, I'll definitely shout her out.
Okay.
But also my dance teachers.
How could you not?
Yes.
What's your unpopular opinion about HBCUs?
Unpopular opinion about HBCUs. Let's think. Um, I would definitely say that like I know people would say like it's like party schools, like you're gonna get distracted, but honestly, I don't really feel like you would get too distracted unless like you're honestly like just like
That
not
person.
like right, you're just not caring and you're just doing stuff. But for me, I feel like you're capable of like figuring out how to not like go to parties and like balance everything. But it definitely took me time, like my first year, like I was like, oh my gosh, like this is so hard trying to like balance all these different things. But yeah.
I'll take it. All right, this is my last one. It might be a slightly unfair question to ask you, but I'm asking it anyway. Ballet or hip hop?
Hip hop.
Oh, that was
Yes,
quick.
yes.
That was
I've been
quick.
training in hip hop since I was like 3 years old. I love hip hop.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
If you like go through my tagged post, and I have like so many videos of me like at different conventions and just yeah, I
It's
love
hip hop. It's hip hop. Okay, got it. Okay. Now, I said this even before we started recording that Chicago is putting you guys on the map. Like it's insane. You are a Chicagoan. And
yeah.
rather, no, 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 no. Chicago isn't putting you guys on the map. You guys are putting Chicago on the
Chicago
map.
on the map.
There we go. There we go. There we go. You could have picked any, literally any HBCU, and there are quite a few in your vicinity that are
Mhm.
within a few hours away from you. And it can't just be about the sisterhood. Why Spelman? What? How did give us your college selection journey? Why Spelman?
So, I was definitely always thinking about an HBCU like
Okay.
that. Just like never like. Of course, I was applying for PWIs, and I was like, oh my gosh, PWIs are going to give me money, but I don't think like HBCUs are going to give me any type of money. But Spelman was always like a number one for me. My brothers went to Morehouse, so I would go down to Atlanta, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like I love all this, the community, the culture, seeing like literally people that look like me. I'm like, I have to stay like in that environment. And so I also kind of went to like my own like high school HBCU called Kenwood Academy in Chicago. And so like kind of just like getting that energy, I was just like, I feel like it's best for me to go to HBCU. So like I said, Spelman was always a number one for me. And as I was applying, I was just kind of just looking for majors. I was looking for like city, like how the city is, because I love the city. Just growing up in Chicago, like I don't see myself like anywhere else. So I was like,
Hmm.
oh, like this is perfect. Like this reminds me of my city. And then also food came in mind too, because I was like, I come from a city with really good food. So I
Yes.
was like, Atlanta, are you gonna do the same? Even though the food is pretty good, but it's nothing compared to my city. um, but yeah, I took like just a lot of different aspects in, and then also just knowing like I'll have family there, I have like a support system. So I was just like, I think this is perfect for me. So when I went to go take a tour, I was just like in awe of everything. Like it's like our own, literally our own community around like in the gates, literally. Like you really don't have to step out for anything unless like you're going out somewhere, but like everything is inside the gates, and I really appreciated that. Also the greenery and just like how it looks during the summer is just like gorgeous. So I just love being in a place where I'm like I feel good about myself. Like when I wake up, I always just like want that energy and that light. And I feel like that's what Spelman gives, like literally a breath of fresh air when I walk outside my door. So just that. And then ultimately, like the connections and like the friends and sisters I've made, definitely like it's going to be times where like going to be people like you're going to stay away from and people that,
Yeah.
you know, you're going to like connect with. But I love Spelman. Like I don't see myself going anywhere else. And also it's the number one HBCU.
We know.
Clock that. Yes.
Not don't just say number one HBCU, because honestly, we must give credit. Number one HBCU 18 years in a
Yes.
row. 18
Mhm.
years. I did not go to Spelman. I went to Kentucky and Howard. But
Yes.
18 years in a row is commendable. It really, really is. So Spelmanites don't come for me, but I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. Don't come for me. There's something about let me back up. So I
Mhm,
used to coach a competitive team, an academic competitive team. And Layla, it was amongst all HBCUs.
mhm,
When the Spelmanites walked into the room, no offense, Layla, it was cocky. It was.
mm.
Let me say this. Let me say this to be very very fair to them. It didn't matter if they gave that or not. That's how we saw them.
Saw
Does
the
that make
okay.
sense? So they walked into the room and they stayed with each other. They did not need to talk to anybody else. They
Mm,
listen, Spellman taught you guys right. So they always had their blue cardigans on and they always looked uniform. They literally looked like a unit.
mm,
And there's some of us who are a little salty and a little jealous. I'm going to put it out there, just a little jealous of not having had the Spellman experience that say these girls are a little bit cultish or cliquish, if you will. And I know that's unfair. Let me be very, very quick to say that I know that's unfair because what it really, really is a true sisterhood. And who doesn't want that? So even though I told you not to give that as your reason for going to Spelman in the first place, I actually love hearing about the sisterhood. Tell me what the sisterhood of Spelman does for you.
so when I first got to Spelman, I joined Mahogany Emotion. This was my first year. I didn't know anything about the dance team, but I was like, why not? Like, I love to dance. I'm going to do something that I love to do. So, just even stepping into that room for auditions, I was like, oh my gosh, like, there's so many girls that look like me. I feel like very supported, loved, just
Mm,
even stepping in that first environment and not knowing anybody. It was just like, great energy. So I say like throughout these like all these different organizations and like spaces on campus, I've been able to just meet so many different people. Like we have like so many different personalities, but like at some point like we connect in some way. So I will say like in the past I've been in like very like toxic relationships, but as Spellman, I feel like there's a way for you to like maneuver and figure out like who's for you and who's not for you. And I've been able to find my group and like who's for me. And it's been like really inspiring also. Like I feel like I've been able to gain new skills and like learn so many different things from like all the girls that I've like been around. And like it honestly feels like a sisterhood through everything that we do, convocations, events on campus. Like there's so much that we do on campus. So I'm like, if I want to go see um L'Oreal, like they have like a table on campus, I'm able to literally network with somebody who goes to Spelman and like now we like the same lip gloss. Now we like the same like foundation. So it's like
yes.
it's really like amazing just to be able to see like we have so many different connections with each other through so much on campus, and it's like through makeup, through things that we like to eat, things like we like to
Absolutely.
do, and I really like appreciate that.
Layla, you are the next generation of innovators. You are the next generation of leaders. You are the next generation of everything,
Mhm.
whether anyone likes it or not. It's you. What issues matter to you as an HBCU student at Spelman who is innovating her own game for several different reasons, not for anything frivolous? What issues when you think about the world that you live in? What issues tug at your heart?
I think the issues that tug at my heart is really just accessibility to like so much around that I don't see many have. Like, especially with the target audience for my game, I really want this next generation that's like coming up behind me and like younger girls to like truly see something in me as well. Like, I just always want to be a support system. I just always want to be that space for younger girls to look at me and be like, I want to do those same things. So for me, service, love, passion are like all super important aspects of who I am and what I want to bring to not only my community at Spelman, but the world in general, because I feel like we need more love, especially in today's society of like what's going on politically. I just feel like we're not loving each other and like embracing all these different things that we have access to. So I really just want to push that out there.
You said a lot. And I wrote down access and I wrote down
Hmm.
love. And then near the end, you went to especially the world we live in, and what's going on in politics, and we
Yes.
need more love. And I want to lean into the access and love for a hot
Mhm.
second, and especially in the climate that we're in,
Yes.
whether we like it or not. If you are a young adult to full adult in the United States of America or anywhere, your leaders have an impact on your life.
Right.
Even if it's not directly, it is absolutely indirectly. So when I hear you use the word access and I hear you use the word love,
Mhm.
and to me, and you'll let me know whether or not I've gotten this right or wrong for you, but to me, love is not just an emotion. Love is a choice to treat other
Yes.
people the
Mhm.
way you would like to be treated, regardless of what they look like, regardless of whether or not you can't even stand them, to be extremely honest.
Yes.
Um, so having said that, and again, this is an HBCU platform, so I'm going to make it about Black people and make it about an HBCU. What things in this political climate do you think HBCUs could have more access to?
um I'm trying to think because I feel like it's like really something that's just not targeted to just HBCUs. I feel like
No
this is just like
worries.
a whole for Black women, I would definitely say. Um
That's fine.
it's just I feel like we're going backwards in a way. Like with
Wow.
all like the women's rights and like things that we were doing years ago, I feel like even now we're still not getting that
Hmm.
access, like to all these different things, like with our own bodies. I feel like even being at Spelman and just being surrounded by a lot of Black women, I can tell like even like stories that I hear is just like men really like justify what we do with our bodies. And like I feel like men are kind of also telling us and controlling us in some type of way. And I feel like we should never let that happen to us at all. And I feel like this goes for society in general and
In
not just
general.
for us as a HBCU. But I just feel
Yes.
like we're kind of just going backwards because I feel like women are still fighting for a lot of things that we were fighting for years ago. Yes.
You don't even know what that deep breath was for, but I'm going to tell you. And so I may get in trouble for this. And I think I'm going to be okay with it because, again, it's just my opinion.
Hmm.
Tosin, are you really going to go there? Yes, I'm going to go there. Uh, so when you were talking, again, we are both Black women. And I think we're both really amazing Black women, by the way.
Yes.
Um, and you said something that hit a nerve for me because it's something that I've been talking about both privately and publicly. And
Hmm.
I typically don't share my opinion on these things
Okay.
intentionally. And I'm still not going to share my exact opinion on it. But somebody
Hmm.
said in one of my private communications exactly what you just said, but for slightly different reasons. So they said they think women are literally going backwards
Hmm.
with regards to our rights. But they didn't just make it about men telling us what to do with our bodies. They also made it about the LGBTQIA identification. And I was not expecting them to go there.
Oh
And they
wow.
said to me, you said, oh, see why I took several deep breaths?
Yeah.
See why I took several deep breaths before you spoke? And we don't have to talk about this, but I want to put this out there. So you and I don't have to talk about this because I don't want any of us getting undue hate that we do not deserve. But I'm still gonna put the notion out there that whether we like it or not, people are talking about. And and the person who said it is a member of the LGBTQIA community.
Mhm.
And the person said, she is a trans woman. She said, as a trans woman, I feel bad for you. And this is a group of us talking, and it was a group of women. And she said, as a trans woman, I know what my struggle is. I feel bad for you. And a number of us were like, pray tell us what you mean.
Mhm.
And she said, no matter how society wants to put it, and again, this is a trans woman speaking, no
Mhm.
matter how a society wants to put it, I transitioned from one gender to the next. And within that transition, there's still some privileges that I have that even though people are trying to be bigoted against me, and the person happened to be white, so even though people are bigoted against me, because they might still see me as a white male in some respects, there's still
Mhm.
some privilege that I will have over you, a
Right.
woman who remains in that space and won't have those privileges. Layla, when I tell you that hit me hard, like hit me really hard, and I
Mhm.
don't even think I fully have conceptualized all of what she meant.
Right.
And that's why I said we don't have to talk about it. But when you said what you said with regards to women going backwards, I was like, wow, this is happening in several different regards, not just depending on sorry, not just with regards to the decisions we make on our body, but in
Mhm.
several other
Yes,
respects.
so many other ways. Yes.
And my what do we do about it, Layla? We're women. And the thing about we're not just women, we're black women. And the reason
Yes.
why I have to keep on putting black
Mhm.
there is because there's a difference, guys. Mind you, I'm somebody that will always identify as a woman first, but very closely remind you that, but there's that black part, and
Mhm.
that black part has you treating me a different way. Sometimes different good, sometimes different bad, but it has you treating me in a different way. We are forgiving. We are adaptable. Father,
Yeah.
Lord, we're adaptable. So it doesn't matter what you throw at us, we're still going to freaking thrive. It's just who we are.
Always.
Having said that, though, what can we do
Mhm.
about this power reversal, this shift
I know.
reversal that is going on?
That's why we have to just keep fighting and uniting. That's why I'm just like always grateful that I'm in this space and like being able to even be at Spelman. We're literally changing the world. That is exactly what I want to do. And I want to make an impact to the entire world through what I'm passionate about. So I feel
Yeah.
like for these things to like not continuously happen and we're going backwards every time, we just have to keep like being in these spaces and also like encourage each other. Like black
Yeah.
women need to always come together because we're the next change makers. Like I'm making the choice to change the world. Absolutely, I am. And that is why I'm working extremely hard and doing all the things that I'm doing in this institution, but especially like I'm seeing so many other black women doing the same and it's like we just need to always stay together and connect each other. Like you're going to do it, I'm going to do it too, and we're going to keep fighting.
I like that. I wrote unite, speak up, and evoke action. That's what I wrote when
Yeah.
you spoke. I literally said unite, speak up, evoke action. Listen, everybody keeps on saying black women are tired. Listen, we've done this, we've done that, we're tired. But I just don't think we can afford to be tired and stop. I just don't think so. So I think we joke around when we say black women are tired. We are, but I don't think we can afford to just stop. So I appreciate you, Layla, giving us the charge to continue to unite, to speak up, and to evoke
Yes.
action. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Layla, there's so many things that Spellman gets right. So many things. I have not gone to Spellman. Even I can tell you all the amazing things that Spellman gets right. And you're not kidding. My very first time on your campus, I cried. And but it
Oh.
was good tears. It was good tears. There was nobody there. Well, there were people there, but there weren't that many people there. It was over the summer. This was way before, well, 2 years before COVID. Yes, 2 years before COVID. I went to Spelman. I walked your campus and I cried.
Wow.
And the tears were born out of warmth. I was watching these young ladies helping each other. It was clear to me that they did not know each other. And let me be clear, I'm not saying that that won't happen anywhere else, but I do think it's part of your culture at Spelman where you lead with benefit of the doubt. I'm going to help you out. I'm going to get you on your way. I happen to be a member of a sorority, and one of them that are in my sorority saw me and did not know me and just came and asked me if I needed anything. I'm not kidding. I've been to several campuses. And that has never happened. Ever happened. I've been to several campuses. There'll be a hi, hey, soror, all of that. But she came over. She could tell this person does not belong here. She's,
Mhm.
walking around and asked me if I needed anything. That just made my heart warm. And so it wasn't tears boohoo. It was like, this exists. Everyone talks about wanting a sisterhood, wanting a
Right. We're
tribe,
all
wanting
here for each other.
that
Yes.
you are there.
Mhm.
But you know where I'm going with this. I'm not going to ask you what does Spelman get wrong, because I don't think Spelman gets much wrong personally, and I know I'm being biased, but I don't think Spelman gets much wrong. But what do you think would even elevate your experience at Spelman even more? That's the best way to ask that question.
Okay, let's think. Cause it's just like this is my second year, so it's like I'm still learning myself.
Got
Like
it.
I'm just
Got
like
it.
not exactly sure like what more do I need from this institution until I'm like actually able to like sit down and like realize like, oh, I need this. But I feel like Spelman is also an institution where you have to go and get it yourself. Like nothing is going to be given to you at all. And so if you want something done and you want somebody to communicate and network with you and like give you all these opportunities, you have to go and do it yourself. And I learned that my first semester, like my first year. My first year was definitely like challenging. It was my first year at Spelman. So you're like, this is like something definitely new and I'm away from home. But I learned that like I wouldn't be able to get anything unless I put myself in that space.
Hmm.
And I'm still learning that every single day. Like when I want something done, or it's like, oh, I see a club that I want to be a part of, and I'm going to go and network with those girls and ask her so many questions about what can I do to be a part of this. And so
Absolutely.
like everything at Spelman is very much a learning experience, and it's something that I'm just like witnessing every single day. So I wouldn't even give an answer to that because like I would personally have to like sit down and figure out like, oh, I need this for myself.
So Layla, thank you. So you know how people think they just have to have an answer for everything just
Yeah.
because somebody asked them and you didn't? I appreciate you for that. I appreciate you for something even bigger. And the bigger thing that I appreciate is this. Layla, you said, I'm still finding myself.
Yes.
And because I'm still finding myself, I'm not necessarily clear right now on all the things that I need. Layla, I pray you remain this person years after you leave Spelman. I pray that you always lead with the authentic version of you that gives the right responses for
Oh,
you. I really, really do. Because again, it's very clear to me that this is somebody who is feeling every bit of her journey and making sure she gets from her journey what she needs. And thank you to Spellman that is also equipping you with knowing how to self advocate so that when it does come to a point where you know this is what I need, because of the way Spellman's culture is,
mhm.
you know that you also have to do something in getting to where you need to be. So I appreciate you. Layla, I could talk to you forever. You are so
Me
pleasant.
too.
I could
Thank
talk to you forever,
you.
honestly. Layla, finish this sentence for me. I have an answer that I would give for you, but I want to hear your answer.
Okay.
I'm not going to do 5 years. Layla, finish this sentence. In 10 years, I will.
In 10 years, I will have my own dance studio, my own business. I would be my own entrepreneur. I would be traveling the world, have my own dance company, my own incubator lab full of technology, software for
Yes.
for the entire world to come and like create their own software. Um, and just ultimately being the change maker. Like I just want everything to just come together, and I just want ultimately to impact the world.
I listen, I'm a Christian, so I'm gonna say amen. I want to see all of this happen for you. It sounds amazing. I really, really, really want to see all of this happen for you. You're going to end the episode for us. Leave our audience with a parting word or short phrase on why you, Layla Stubbs, visionary gamer
Yeah.
in dancing, why do you love HBCUs?
I love HBCUs because I get to network, I get to meet so many different people from around the world and just engage into everything, like being able to be in a space academically, being in a space as an athlete, and even just as a human being. I've been able to just gain so many different things and so many aspects of life being at this institution. And I feel like HBCUs just like have so much culture and have so much opportunity for Black people in general, but especially Black women. And I feel like we're just able to thrive in this space.
You
So
love
I think
HBCUs.
HBCUs, I love HBCUs.
I love it. I love it. And as you were speaking, I was like, Tosin, you did not even get to talk about the fact that she's an amazing athlete. My apologies, Layla.
No, it's
But
okay.
but to everyone watching, to everyone listening, it is impossible. It is impossible for you not to go ahead and like this episode, not because of me, but because of Layla Stubbs. You will hear her name as one of the most innovative game creators for dance in the future. I have enjoyed this conversation with you, Layla, and I hope everyone has enjoyed watching and listening. And I hope I've also earned the pleasure of you subscribing to I Love My HBCU question mark.
Yes.
Yours in HBCU love. See you next episode. Thank you so much, Layla.
Thank you so much.
You've been listening to I Love My HBCU question mark. Let's keep the conversation going as we share our stories and encourage more practical support of HBCUs, whilst of course holding each other accountable. Don't forget to follow and subscribe for the latest episodes. Until next time, love and lift your HBCU.